Hi, everybody. It is Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, everybody. Come in, come in, come in. It is rainy, rainy, rainy here in New York City. I don't know about where you are, but the rain has not stopped. It is just raining and raining and raining, but we will not let that stop us. We will continue to sell and be cheerful and just deal with it, right? I mean, there's worse things that can happen. I mean, good grief, there's parts of the country that are really having serious, serious flooding. So you're going to hear a little honking. This is New York City, but say hi. Let me know that you can hear me. And I'm going to do a quick tech check. And then I'm going to tell you some things that have been happening to eBay listings. See if it's happening to you. And I do have a solution. So let's just see how everybody is. Um, Hang on just a second. We love live video. So let's just see what's going on. Okay, great. Yeah. I see Sharon. How are you, Sharon? Thanks for joining me from Chicago. And Janet, Christy, how are you? Gorgeous day in Northwest Iowa. Well, now I know where to go. I need to be going to Iowa. It's been a very, very rainy spring and early summer. I'm hoping that our reservoirs are nice and full, and certainly all the trees are green, green, green. Everything is super green. So that's good. And it cleans the city streets, which is also good. Hey, Lori, how are you? Good. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on. And Pam, thanks so much for joining me always. I remember you back in my Periscope days. That's taking us back, right? So good. I'm glad you're all here. So I got to tell you, first of all, it's my grandson's birthday this weekend, and which is like, yay. So one of the things, you know how when you're coming up on birthdays, it can happen at Christmas time, anniversaries, you sort of go back in your mind. And I was remembering we have a really wonderful park nearby. We used to take him to when he was little. And he was just over a year old. He was just learning how to walk, so they're a little wobbly. Um, and it was fall. And what he would love to do, he would pick up leaves off the grass. It was a very sweet little small park, lots and lots of grass. We'd put out a blanket for him, and he would stand up and he would grab a leaf off the grass, and then he would take it and he would throw it with all of his might, as hard as he could. When it goes like 2 inches, it would fall. And by throwing it with all of his might, he would fall over. So he'd fall over, he's in diapers, he's very well padded, he's falling like, what are you falling? Maybe 2 feet, at the most. And he'd fall down. Didn't bother him in the least. He'd laugh, he'd laugh because it's nice soft grass. He'd get back up again, so he, you bend over so their butt's up in the air, and he'd push himself back up. Sometimes we'd help him up, but really he was independent. He wanted to do it himself. So, his butt goes up in the air and he pushes himself up, and he'd grab another leaf and he'd throw it again and he'd fall over again. And he would do this for half an hour, 45 minutes, loving it. To him, it was fun. He enjoyed it. He didn't mind falling over. This is what got me thinking for us as sellers. He didn't mind falling over. It did not bother him in the least. He just kept getting back up and throwing that leaf again, and he just kept going. And that's what I was thinking about, is that one thing about my grandson, which is a huge blessing in babysitting him, is he's a very happy baby. He's just happy. He's only crying when he was little, wet diaper, he's hungry, or just sometimes they're just a little cranky, but just happy. And that joy, so the joy of throwing and the joy of sort of, muscling yourself back up again, and then just getting right back into it, because he was so intent on how much fun he had throwing the leaves. And that's what made me think about the selling, which is, when things are, discouraging, or they may not be going well, or I have a difficult customer, or my printer's jammed, or I have to reboot my printer 3 times, or the label's jammed, or I can't find my item. I mean, there's so many things that can go on. I'm out product sourcing and I'm just not finding anything good. Is to think about Jackson, to go, okay, break it down. How can I deal with this? Like for me with the printer is unplug it, reboot it. And it is annoying. And sometimes you got to unplug it and reboot it 2 or 3 times, but eventually it does get going again. And just to shake things off faster. That's one of my sort of things I'm holding in my mind when I think about my grandson, is just shake it off faster. When I let it really get to me, so then it drags down my whole morning, and then I'm just cranky and crabby rather than, you know what, it's a printer. It's going to happen. Just shake it off and just reboot it a couple times. If I'm in the store, and this has happened, I'm in the thrift store and, just everything's very overpriced. I only find maybe one or two things. It's just not that great. Or if I'm doing retail arbitrage, again, go, you know what, move on, go to another store, just leave. It may not be my day for shopping, and that's okay. You know what I mean? It's just same thing, shipping. Sometimes it just takes a little longer. But again, like Jackson, just get up, shake it off, and throw that leaf again. What I wanted to bring up, it's something that has been going on for years on eBay. This just happened to me again this past week, and I posted it in my group, eBay Selling Basics, Nothing But Selling Basics. And if you're not in that, it's on Facebook, and it's for sellers of all levels. We have sellers that are just starting out, and then some very advanced sellers. So that's my Facebook group, eBay Selling Basics, Nothing But Selling Basics. And this seems to be a long-standing thing on eBay. You may not have run into it, and good if you haven't, which is, and it was actually because it was something I had listed on Poshmark. So I'm seeing it on Poshmark, so I'm sharing my closet, and I'm thinking, I don't think I've seen that listing on eBay. Let me go see what's going on, because really this item should have sold by now, and really it's more of an eBay item in my mind than a Poshmark item. So I hop over to eBay, and I go into my active listings, and I search, and it's not there. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I sold it, and I forgot to take it off of Poshmark. So I check my solds. It's not there. I check my inventory. It's there. So this is what I'm sharing with you. I don't know what else to call it. So I call it the eBay Phantom. And many sellers are aware of this, because when I posted in the group, everybody's like, yeah, that's happened to me too. It tends to happen to older items. I have not had it happen to an item that's under 3 months. Items that are listed more than 6 months, for some reason, sometimes, again, this does not happen to all sellers, but sometimes the item just falls off. For whatever reason, it just falls out of your inventory on eBay, and it doesn't even show in your unsolds. It's just gone. It's as if it was never there. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So this is how I deal with it. So, I mean, we can scream, we can yell, whatever. Just every now and then listings, again, older listings will just fall off the radar completely. So one is list on other sites. So be listed on Poshmark, be listed on Etsy, because it may fall off of eBay, but it will still be there, and you can get your pictures and your listing from there. And that's my concern for you is, oh my gosh, my work is gone. Like, what do I do? So list on other sites, because then your listing will be there. The other thing is make sure that you store your pictures. Now, I know some sellers delete their photos as soon as an item is sold. Fine. I store mine in Dropbox. People store, there's a lot of cloud storage, so I'm not endorsing anything. Just store your pictures, label them so you can find them. When you upload the pictures, it always has all those funny numbers on them. Name them. So, for instance, I have on my eBay deal gray t-shirt, eBay deals gray t-shirt. Label it so that you know what on earth it is. So for some reason you need to reload the picture. Remember the eBay photo glitch. And if you didn't encounter it, double check your listings as you're going through and make sure that your pictures are still on there. And if you need help on that, I've got a YouTube on that. So hop over to my YouTube channel, Kathy Terrill YouTube, and look for, I think I called it the eBay Glitch Monster. Look for my YouTube on the eBay Glitch Monster. Because some people on their listings, like tons of pictures just vanished. So save your pictures. I recommend cloud storage and label them so you can find them. Be listed on other sites, Poshmark, Etsy, so that your listings are still there. Remember, with Poshmark, there's no listing fee. So your listings live there. Obviously, it needs to be an item that's legal to sell on Poshmark, like clothing, jewelry, makeup. Okay, and now there's some home decor you can sell on Poshmark. The other thing is, if you are using a tool like InkFrog, a listing tool, InkFrog, more expensive tools like 6-bit, along the price of InkFrog is Octiva. They will store your listings, as far as I know, indefinitely. So again, if you go and you go, that thing hasn't sold for a while, because this will happen to me too, that thing hasn't sold for a while, and you go to find your listing and it's gone, again, double check that you haven't sold it off another site and you just forgot. So just go to eBay, check listings ended, and don't filter it in any way. So don't filter it sold and don't filter it unsold. Just do listings ended. It will only be for the past 90 days, but it'll give you an idea of, was it on the eBay site at all? Okay. And if you really remember listing it, and again, sometimes we think we listed something and we don't, but if you really remember listing it, hop over to your other sites. If you are cross-channel, if you're on Etsy, if you're on Poshmark, and see if the listing's still there. Check your photo storage, see if the information's there. And again, if you listed with Octiva or InkFrog, your information will be there. Now, this is another way, this is another hot tip for you. Oh, and while we're on the topic of eBay, hang on just a second. I want to show you, I've got a really good guide for you. So hang and hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and you're going to hover over free tips. And the one you want to grab, I just redid it, is Dominate eBay Search Tips. So hop over to ilovetobeselling.com, go to free tips, Dominate eBay Search Tips. This is a complimentary guide. This is my gift to you. And I've got 4 top tips for you that will help your items in eBay search. So hop on over and grab that. So, spot check your inventory. And I know we're all super busy, but this is well worth doing even once a month. I'll be honest, I don't do it once a month. I do it more like every 2 months, but I'll grab a bin or I'll go to a rack, however you store your items, by a shelf. You might have a shelf of mugs, a shelf of games. And just as you're listing, take 10 or 15 minutes and go to one storage area and pull a box or pull a rack and just quickly go through and spot check whether those items are still listed. I did this the other day. I did it by size. So I checked this one size, for instance, a size 12, because I had a bin with size 12 items. I just pulled them all out. I have each one labeled so I know what it is. And I just quickly went to my active listings and went through it. And I found one item, which is why I'm bringing this up. I found one item that was no longer listed. And it was listed on Poshmark. So I was able to grab my listing off of Poshmark. You know, the photos there, the photo had stored, I had it labeled. So I grabbed the listing, I had my description and everything, and I was able to list on eBay like in a matter of minutes. Okay. So hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, grab my free guide for you, Dominate eBay Search. So that way you get really good search results for your listings that are up. And it is worth it to spot check your listings, because if it's fallen off, we all know this, if it's not listed, it can't sell. And this may never happen to you. And I truly hope it never does. But it's well worth spot checking. And again, just grab a handful of inventory, grab a box, grab a rack, and quickly, you can do this in 5 or 10 minutes. Just go, okay, that shirt's listed, that shirt's listed. Oh, shirt's not listed. Is it cross-listed anywhere else? I can grab the listing quickly. If it's not, do I have the photos in the cloud? Okay, at least I can pull the photos there. I'm an experienced seller, plus I have Kathy's Dominate eBay Search Tips. I can knock out a title, a description in a matter of minutes. Boom, the listing is back up. And this is a fun thing, oftentimes because it's a new fresh listing. I just put up a new fresh listing with just really new optimized title and everything. Bam, it'll sell in a couple of days. And then I got myself a wonderful eBay sale. So that's my tip for you, is if you're going, why didn't that thing sell? Why isn't it selling? Make sure it is listed. Again, you could have forgotten to list it, but it's worth it to double check. And again, if you're a cross seller so that it's on Poshmark or Etsy, that's a real quick way to check. If you're listing again with InkFrog or Octiva, It'll have a record of your listing. So it's right there. You can reactivate it. And if not, store your pictures in a cloud so you can get to them. There's plenty of free cloud storage places. So this is not something that's going to cost you a lot of money. It's well worth backing your pictures up. But again, label them so you can find them. And then you've got, if you didn't store the listing per se, you can get your listing up quickly. And it's like, yay, I've got new fresh inventory and get it listed. But sometimes when things don't sell, it's not that it's a stale listing and it's just sitting there, it's gone. And again, this does seem to happen to older listings. So if it's a listing that, something that you've had for 6 years, excuse me, 6 years, hopefully nothing's in your store that long. But if it's longer than 6 months or a year, it's always worth it to spot check your inventory. So I don't want you losing sales. I don't want you not getting your inventory sold. I want your sales to stay strong. And again, hop on over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and grab Dominate eBay Search. But don't let the listing phantom attack your listings. Stay on top of it. Make sure your items are listed, and make sure if something has fallen off, you get it right back on, because I want you to get those sales. Okay? Great. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye.